Today, it's all about the alpha. What are the next steps that we should be farming for more points so we get a decent token allocation? And of course, at the end, some actionables. Let's dive in. It's the 10th of April, and this is your daily Solana alpha. So first up, Zeta Markets. We've always known that they're going to have a token because they have a point system, and it's all about Z or Z if you're from North America. But I'm just going to go with Z. First up, we've got Zeta Markets. We're proud to introduce Z, the future of decentralized trading. So if you don't know, Zeta Markets is a DEX on Solana similar to Drift, and they are introducing their Z or Z tokens. They've done a decent amount of trading volume, over 4 billion. The supply will be 1 billion. Token ticker is Z. Initial distribution, 10% airdrop of Z to reward Zeta users and strategic communities on Solana. I imagine, or at least I would hope, that they're going to use J.U.P's launchpad. I'm pretty damn sure if they applied to the LFT launch, they would be voted as, the people to definitely launch. It would do very, very well, get a lot more users for them. Even though it's competition to J.U.P itself or J.U.P's DEX, I think it would do very, very well. Anyway, so I know we're going to need a decent tutorial on Zeta Markets. In the meantime, it's fairly easy, and my researchers will work out everything we need to do in order to improve our Z score. One thing to keep in mind that 5% of the total supply for traders based on the Z score, and then an additional 4% distributed to Z Stake It, which I guess comes in the future. All details about the tokenomics will be included in the upcoming Z white paper. So it's not released yet, but when we've got details on this, it will be included. Now on to Parcl. So the final points trilogy leaderboard is now live. You can go and check and see if you have got all of the snapshots. If you have an NFT, then you might be getting a nice big bonus, including this 20% down here. We'll cover this in the actionables, but you need to check whether your wallet was flagged for ineligible activity and submit a dispute if you feel this is incorrect. So as an example, Fabiano, he's doing great threads on airdrop information, so definitely worth a follow here. But basically, you can see down here, ineligible activity, self-referral reported. People who self-referred and reported get a deduction of their points. Important, you're not disqualified. So go and have a look if you did use a couple of different wallets and referred yourself, and then go and open a ticket, do a dispute, whatever you need to do. I have personally done it in my tutorial. I've shown you how to do that, so I need to check that. That's only for one wallet, and I imagine I should be okay. The other thing is I'm not sure how it's done. Maybe it's done on the IP address. So as an example, if you're in a house and your wife has her own crypto and she was referred by you, then maybe that was self-reported. People who self-referred and didn't report are disqualified. And this is all about just reducing a Sybil attack. And as mentioned, it includes IP as well. So I'll check this out and I'll see how I did. Coinbase is adding support for the Shadow token. This is not financial advice, of course not. I'm still looking into Shadow. However, if you don't think that Shadow is a token that you want to hold, maybe you've been holding it for a while, you're probably going to get, a nice brief window in the next coming week or so where you can potentially sell it. Now, what's actually happened with Shadow, I'll pull up the chart. We can see we've had a nice pump here. And if we zoom out for say a month, we're basically at $1.50. And then they announced that they were actually going to list it. That was March 27th. It pumped up to $2.48. And then it had another rally up after coming back to $2.20. And then it's just been down. In general, the markets have been down. And then once again, it pumped up briefly to just over $2, $2.17 on the news that it's actually going to be going live on Coinbase. And now it's coming down again. So this is why it's a good idea just to set limit orders at higher prices. So as an example, if around here you'd set something on say J.U.P or another favorite DEX or even centralized exchange, and you want to take profit, you could set something at like $1.80, $2, $2.40, $2.50, $3, $4. It hasn't hit $3 or $4 yet, and maybe it won't in the future, who knows? However, at least you're taking profits on the way up if you actually wanted to take profits. So as an example, if you look here and you wanted to take profits, let's say the price is like $1.90 and you're thinking, I wouldn't mind taking profit at $2.20. Well, then maybe you would have actually been able to take a small amount of profit right here at $2.20. But otherwise, if you just wait until the market responds and then you have to reply immediately, you won't make it. So you need to make sure that you're setting up your limit orders to sell or buy if that's what you want to do as well. Now on to deBridge. I'll create another tutorial because basically right now the meta is just airdrop farming. It's airdrop farming, and I'm not sure really what any sub metas are, but Start with airdrop farming, accumulate points, find the dApps you like, stick with the dApps. Hopefully they will reward you, and then you get rewarded by maybe holding the token, staking the token, what have you. As we can see here, deBridge Finance is where the party's at. Points are coming here. We all know that Wormhole did very well. And of course, nothing's going to be able to repeat Wormhole in terms of that major amount of liquidity. However, maybe if you use deBridge a few times, a couple of different wallets, which of course is effectively a Sybil attack, but then again, it's also actually how we use the ecosystem by using different wallets, then maybe you're going to make a couple of $100 and maybe you actually like the project and you keep the tokens. I'm not sure, but we'll cover this in a video coming up. In the meantime, we can basically see points will play a crucial role in handing power over to our active and loyal community. And of course, points end up making it into an actual token. Now, if you happen to like Solflare wallet, you will get a 1.1x boost when you use Solflare and deBridge. Fabiano, like clockwork, has done a great thread on all of this. So give this a read if you like, but I'll probably have to cover this in a full video. What we can see though is 5.5 million was raised by deBridge. And if we have a look at the website, it's okay. To be perfectly honest, it would be so easy for a bridge to become really successful. Just a nice clean UI, maybe a tutorial video over here, or at least a pop-up saying, do you want a tutorial video? And then you can get little wee tutorial videos, put them in different languages as well. And this would do very, very well. Right now, and I still have to try it myself, but I would be going, and this is an example of what I mean by the UI. Now, I'm not a UI dev, I'm not dev at all, but if we have a look here, it just looks a little bit off. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to use it. I just think the UI is very important. So Avalanche is kind of cut off here, Ethereum, there's no padding, lots of padding, no padding, and so on. Anyway, onto the actual dApp itself. So I'm going to go between Solana with, say, some USD coin, maybe some ETH as well, and I'd go over to Base. So I think Base as a network will do very, very well. USDC to ETH. Can I go with USDC? Great. 1,000. I'm unsure exactly how much to go with. Cool thing is we can see the points here, so we can definitely go back and forth. But as I mentioned, I'll do a dedicated video on this. Later today, 3:30 p.m. UTC time, we've got J.U.P's Planetary Call. These are always really, really good to actually attend. However, if you can't, you can always pop over to J.U.P's ecosystem channel, the YouTube channel, and just catch up on different things or watch a recording of this at 2x speed or something like that. Here's a very good point from Half. If you don't know what to farm, just buy J.U.P. So literally buy J.U.P, go and stake your J.U.P at vote.jup.ag, and then every time there's a vote out, go and vote. And I will mention every single time there is a vote out, and I'll mention it multiple times. So just make sure you're subscribed with notifications on and just flick through my videos. Now, this is not completely correct here. When Zeus Tensor wasn't launched via J.U.P. They used the infrastructure, but it had nothing to do with voting for J.U.P or anything like that. But when rewards, Zeus rewards, these will all be distributed as part of active staking rewards to people that actually voted and of course are staking their J.U.P. Next one coming up is Sharky, and then there's probably going to be another vote soon for what's going to launch next month. Now, once again, Fabiano has a step-by-step guide for a 4-in-1 airdrop. Just as a reminder, I'm not really playing in the airdrop game when it comes to NFTs. If you are going to be doing it and you're doing it solely for profit, then it's quite a bit of work. Then it's a huge amount of work, and you need to be really paying attention, basically watching the markets daily. Nevertheless, Fabiano has a strategy here which uses SharkyFi, Rainfi, Soul Sniper, and also Magic Eden. And then Neon has some alpha on diamonds. So if you go and farm a collection, which is giving you a diamond bonus, 85 gems, buying a 1.46 SOL NFT, paid 0.036 SOL fee, went with 0 royalty, which is something I don't agree with, but the markets are what the markets are. That's $6.32, and you can currently go to Whales Market, whales.market, and sell them for $17. Solf has 4 airdrops that are free to farm. IONet, I still haven't worked this out yet. You can go and do Galaxy quests if you're keen. Then this next one, Tatsumiko. It's a play to airdrop modern fantasy multiplayer on Solana, and you need an access code or an NFT. I haven't looked into that, not yet. Uprock, I do use this. Put it on your Android phone or put it on your Mac. Sign up, use some of your bandwidth, similar to Grass, and get Uprock tokens. I have a referral link below. And then the Arena app. I've never heard of this before. Decent number of followers. However, it is on the Avalanche network, which means I'm probably going to fade it. Next, Kamino Finance. Every Meteora vault on Kamino earns both MET stimulus points and Kamino points. Let me just quickly show you that. So Linktree, you can click on the Linktree if you like, or just Kamino.finance. This is just a tutorial wallet here. We'll go to liquidity and we can see all of these different vaults here. Click on DEX, it'll sort it by DEX, and we can scroll on down until we see the Meteora logo, Radium, and this is Meteora. So initially, all of the Meteora vaults were basically just J.U.P and something else. Now there are a few extra, but certainly primarily just J.U.P. We do have some things like Popcat and bSOL, Mmosh, so these are just, I guess, meme coins. And at the top here, we've got Wen and bSOL as well. Now, I don't actually necessarily think it's worth jumping into these. If you've got a decent amount of J.U.P already staked and you're voting with it, fine. Then if you have some extra J.U.P and you just want to trade, completely fine. Let's have a look out of curiosity at something like J.U.P and Chonky, and we'll just see if there's any impermanent loss. So what you can do with Kamino is you can have a look at the analytics, and you can go and, let's say, we've been in this for 30 days, but let's have a look at 90 days. We don't have any funds in here. We can see if we've outperformed things. So you can see the Kamino strategy is actually not doing well. It's still earning fees. It's still doing what it should be doing, but your return would have been 42%. Whereas if you just hodled both Chonky and J.U.P, you'd be up 132%. And if you just hodled Chonky, you'd be up 150, and J.U.P hodl 99. That's over 90 days. Let's have a look at 30 days. 30 days, you can still see Kamino basically underperformed. Now, if these token pairs go up at a similar rate, then normally the Kamino strategy would do better. But if one shoots up and the other one shoots up at different times, then you're going to move from one asset to another asset. You're going to have that impermanent loss, and your strategy will not do well. We'll have a look at one more. Maybe J.U.P and bSOL. I like J.U.P and bSOL. However, J.U.P and bSOL itself is printing way more. So we'll have a look at that, and we'll see if this base APY fee is better than impermanent loss. So if you just hodled bSOL, you'll be up 16% versus Kamino strategy, which is up 29%. If you just hodled J.U.P, you'd be up 72%. And if you just hodled both of them, you'd be up 37%. So I would say that this strategy would be pretty decent actually. Because imagine if you just had, say, $1,000 worth of USDC, and then you converted that into bSOL and J.U.P. So you basically did your cost basis as USDC. You're not trying to work out things in terms of, this is my stack of J.U.P and this is my stack of bSOL that I want to keep and grow. You're thinking it in terms of my USD stack, I want to grow the value of this. So we can ignore this and we can ignore this. All we can really compare it to is, say, bSOL, because that's the underlying layer 1 asset. That's the thing that we would probably be buying and then holding, staking with validator.com, etc. So when we compare it, this to this, it's done actually fine. So this is probably not bad. Let's have a look at 90 days. Once again, J.U.P's gone up a huge amount. And although I think J.U.P will potentially go up quite a bit more, I think it will take a little bit of time, and I think the real value comes from holding the J.U.P, voting with the J.U.P, staking the J.U.P, etc. As opposed to just buying it on, say, Binance and waiting for it to go up in value and selling it. I personally believe this is an ecosystem token that needs to be used in the ecosystem in order to generate returns. Kamino strategy has outperformed bSOL, so I would say that this would be a decent liquidity pool to enter. Not financial advice, of course. Past results are not indicative of future results, but you know that you're also getting Kamino points and Meteora points as well. And I'm pretty certain that Meteora will be the most massive DeFi dApp on Solana by TVL. Or maybe Kamino will because they're integrated Meteora, but between Kamino and Meteora, the liquidity will be here. Crypto Ape has a little blurb on SharkyFi. He mentions 30 million fully diluted valuation. They're going to be launching on J.U.P, and they're one of his clients. They're expanding across to ordinals on the Bitcoin network. This is something I've never played on, but there's a huge amount of volume over on ordinals, and that of course attracts actually more people because people are very familiar with ordinals or they're familiar with Bitcoin, and a lot of the ecosystem from Solana can flow there, but vice versa. And they're focusing on real world assets. Exactly how this is going to play out, I'm not sure. And they have a small implied market cap. And airdrop farming ends tomorrow, which is now today. So if you got in, great. If not, just wait for their launch on J.U.P and make sure you're staking and voting with your J.U.P. Invest Answers, this guy covers a lot of stuff in crypto and a lot of stuff on Solana. Really good channel, gives longer, detailed information, and he has a great video on solving Solana congestion. He's not a dev, so you can understand it in simple terms for the most part, and this video link will be below. It's 23 minutes long. But if you're time poor, essentially there's a lot of transactions being pushed to the validators. They cannot handle them all at the same time, so a lot of these do not actually get in. Most of these transactions are coming from bots. They get rejected, so your meme coin enjoyer or the average person, they cannot get their transaction in, because for every one here, there's probably like 200 or 400 transactions that are coming from somebody else. And of course, it doesn't make it into the Solana blockchain. By the way, the fix for this, or at least the first fix, should be coming April 15th. Wallet draining is big business, huge industry. Scammers go and scam you for hundreds of millions a year. So Lighthouse Protocol is teaming up with Blowfish to give some decent support to hopefully all wallets. Slork has a huge amount of information here, but in many respects, just need to let them ship. Jussie has found Rainfi. I really like Rainfi, and they have Magic Swap. So I've covered this, but basically you invest and then you borrow some USDC from a lender for not one day. I wouldn't go with one day unless you're confident on the markets, but for a longer period, as an example, 5 days. And then you either lose your USDC if you don't pay it back, or because you get SOL or a meme coin or whatever they're happy to loan USDC for, in other words, whatever this person is happy to accept as collateral, if the price of SOL goes up, you can sell it for USDC, make a profit, and then go and return the USDC to the person that issued the loan with the interest as well. It's essentially leverage trading, but done in a way where you can't be liquidated. Just pay attention, and I would say go for something that's a longer duration. And if you don't get involved now because of the network congestion, I completely understand, but from mid-April, we should see a reduction in congestion. Remember to stake your SOL with Validator.com. Do like Topo does. He's an absolute genius. And remember, bSOL offers MEV, and I'll show you quickly now how you can actually claim your bSOL from your stake accounts. So let's just go to bSOL. So we're going to the correct website, bdo.network. Go ahead, we'll connect this wallet. This has a little bit of Solana staked in here, nothing crazy like 4 SOL or something like that. And we can see down here, we can convert our mSOL to bSOL, or we can also convert our stake account across to bSOL. This is what we can do if we want to take our stake SOL and convert it to bSOL for, say, DeFi. We can then put into Kamino Finance and borrow USDC or something like that. But you don't have to worry about this. Now, if you just scroll on down to the bottom, you can click Harvest MEV Rewards. And there's not a massive amount here because, well, this is a small stake account. But I can go and claim 0.003 bSOL, or I can just claim it as SOL. I can toggle this off and just grab the SOL. But I love bSOL, so I'll harvest MEV, proceed, and then approve in my wallet, small amount of Solana, and then I go and get bSOL staked SOL. Confirm, and you can do this as often as you like, or you can just let it build up. And that's how you get the MEV rewards that come with staking with Validator.com. If you want a higher yield on your SOL, then you can check out this strategy here. This is with bSOL, earning 60% APY with a whole lot of different routes. This might be something that you're interested in. On the subject of congestion, you have ore.supply, which is this program here, Mine. This is doing the most amount of transactions on Solana. So this is the big reason why Solana is having a bit of difficulty, because there's value in running this proof of work blockchain dApp on Solana. You can see Jupiter is doing only 6.7% and Radium is doing 17.3%. Due to this congestion, Greed is not going to launch yet. They're going to pause until the network is a magical experience, which hopefully should be the 15th, 16th, 17th, something around that of April. If you participated in Bonk's March Madness, and if this looks like your address, it's sadly not my address, then you have $140,000 worth of Bonk. That is epic. And if you want some merch or Chonky, you can go ahead and order yourself one of these plushies. I'm unsure when the actual date will be of shipping it. For a big one, 46 euros, and a little one, 17 euros. But they have a decent amount of merch. This is quite impressive for such a new project. Finally, I'm keen to bring in more people into the Solana ecosystem and more people into crypto and give them good TLDRs. Every day I have someone that talks about how I'm bashing ETH. So if you wish, go and watch this video, Solana versus EVMs. In some ways, if I start to get more hate on my channel, this is a good thing. It means I'm actually growing as a creator, growing as an educator, etc. But it keeps on being mentioned by just a few people that I'm bashing ETH. If you watch this, you'll understand why I'm not using Ethereum as a mainnet and why I think Solana has so much more value. And if you've watched a number of my videos, you should understand why I prefer to hold Solana over ETH. It's an easier network, it's easy to stake, and the price prediction for me personally is over $800. So more than a 4x from this point right here. Whereas with ETH, it's probably going to hit maximum around about $10,000. Now, having said all that, Ethereum essentially laid the network for smart contracts. The amount of good stuff they've done for crypto is massive, but you can't bring on hundreds of millions of people onto a network that has all these different friction points or where gas fees are so expensive. Having said that, I've publicly said that I would love for Validator.com to run a Monad validator in the future, but I just haven't quite connected to Monad's team to find out how to do that. Secondly, I've also said that Base Network looks like a good play. So if you did want to play on an EVM, I think Base Network would be where the party's at. But anyway, you can watch this video if you like. Now let's quickly end with our actionables. Use Zeta Markets and earn Z points. I think Zeta Markets has huge potential, huge potential. Check your final Parcl points allocation and submit if you have any disputes you need to dispute. Attend the J.U.P Planetary Call and claim the POAP. At the end, there will be a POAP. You have to fill out a form, you have to be quite fast. If you can't do it live, then you won't get it. Use Rainfi's Magic Swap. You'll earn some Rainfi points or some droplets. And of course, if you know what you're doing, maybe you go and put in $100 of USDC, borrow 10 SOL, SOL goes up, 5 days later, you repay it, then you'll be in profit if SOL went up in value. But that, of course, is not financial advice. I showed you how J.U.P and SOL were doing with Meteora on the Kamino side of things, and I think it's very worthwhile having some skin in the game when it comes to earning Meteora points, and of course, some Kamino points as well. Not a bad idea. And finally down here, use deBridge and earn points. Video on this coming soon. Stay curious, catch you in those videos.